If you notice, one or the other pads always stay on the rim. For instance, if you lift the bicycle, lift the wheel off the ground and try to spin it, and it doesn't spin freely because it's rubbing against one of the pads. I did show in one video that we have these small screws here, right there on each side. There's another one there. So basically these screws, what they do is they push on the spring that's actuating this arm. The more you screw it in like this, the more the spring will be stiff and the more the arm will want to pull outside. Okay, so that's how you adjust. That's normally the normal adjustment. However, on my bicycle I did adjust these two screws on both sides properly, and one pad was still rubbing. It was this one by this metal kind of metal tube. This one was always rubbing. And what I did notice, again, this is the front wheel, is that this entire cable was tensioned, and that is not the right. It shouldn't be tensioned. This entire cable that goes to the handle, it was tensioned. Why? Because some times ago I did adjust my handle. You have here a screw, and basically I did loosen this and I did rotate this handle upwards, and it pulled on this cable. It put it on the on tension like this because all this unit was rotated and was pulling on it. So when this cable is in tension, if it's not loose like this, if there is tension on the cable here itself, on the jacket of the cable, not inside. So if this whole jacket is under tension, this pad will always, the pad that's on the side where the jacket is arriving first, this pad will always be rubbing. You cannot adjust it. So make sure this jacket, I say cable, but actually it's the jacket. So you have a jacket and then you have this cable inside the jacket. It's this metal cable that has to be under tension or in tension. This one has to be loose like this. It's important. Maybe for the rear wheel, if you have the same problem with the rear wheel, just identify the rear cable and make sure it's not under tension or is not stuck at some point. Now, if you wonder perhaps how do you adjust the distance between each pad and the rim, first make sure the pad, it's always when I press the brakes, pull the brakes if you want, the pad is sitting on the metal part of the rim. I'm not sure if you can see the other side properly. Anyway, it's hard for me to film the other side. So make sure it sits on the rim. Let me just show you that both pads move at the same time. So I'm going to pull the brakes, and you always need to have a brake pad move away from the rim when you don't pull the brakes at certain distance. It depends, I'll explain in a moment, but again I just want to show you. It's a little bit dark here. Let's see. So this one it's a little bit, actually, let's see. Yes, I still need to loosen this cable. It's still a little bit, this jacket is still a little bit under tension. That's why the left pad, it's still kind of doesn't move too far away, enough far away. It's not rubbing, but it should be moving more far away. I'm going to adjust it perhaps at the screw here at this time. But if you want to adjust the space between the pads when you don't pull the brakes, it's this cable here. So what you need to do, you have an Allen K hex, depends on the size, and you loosen this nut and you simply move the cable here, and there's kind of a squeeze in there. You move it left or right. Notice mine was already, I did pull it a little bit more, so you can tell it was crushed before here. Now it's tight in there, and make sure you tighten not too strong. If you tighten it back too strong, it's going to crush and sever the cable. So don't tighten too strong, but it has to be tight properly, like quite tight in there. Otherwise, when you pull the brakes, it's going to have, the cable may slip in there and you will lose brakes. So just make sure it's tightened properly. these are the ideas how you adjust these pads. Also, I have a video how you adjust these washers, and also the order for these washers. It's important you have on both sides of this arm, and also the position of the pad. It's important so it touches the rim here and it's parallel to the rim as well on both sides. What I ended doing, actually, this cable was overlapping this other cable, so it was keeping in tension, so I had to detach it from here, just pass the whole jacket and cable underneath this one. Now it's free and it should work nice without rubbing. However, keep in mind, sometimes the wheel it's not running through. In other words, when you spin the wheel, just leave the bike, spin the wheel, or even when you run the wheel, you see the wheel moves slightly to one side rhythmically on a certain frequency, and that it's not necessarily because of the spokes adjustment. It's oftentimes when you mount a tire, what happens if, so you have the tire bed on each side. If one of the beds it's not fully pushing aligned with the rim, inside the rim, so let's imagine this bed, at some point on the tire it sits more towards the center. When you are going to inflate the tire, what happens is the tire will pull with that bed to one side, or maybe pull, the pressure is going to be more on the other side, less on this side, and that alone will push the rim to not run through. So just the tire mount alone, it can be a problem. So just bear that in mind. You might want to deflate the tire, make sure the bed it's really running against the rim all around the tire. Just bear that in mind. It's rare that the spokes themselves need to be adjusted, which by the way it's difficult to do. Don't try it unless you know how to do it.